Hello everyone, now we're going to be moving on to Swing. Let's take a look at an overview. Swing is defined in the package javax.swing. Original GUI components from AWT can be found in java.awt. These include heavyweight components which rely on the local platform's window system for the look and feel. Swing components are lightweight. This is due to the fact that they are not weighed down by GUI capabilities of the platform, and they are more portable than heavyweight components. Swing components allow the programmer to specify the look and feel. This can change depending on platform and can be the same across all platforms. Let's take a look at the Swing component inheritance hierarchy. Here, component defines methods used in its subclasses, for example, paint and repaint. In the container, we have a collection of related components. When using JFrame, we add components to the content pane, or a container. The J component is a superclass to most Swing components. J component features a pluggable look and feel and can look different on different platforms at runtime. It has shortcut keys. This gives direct access to components through the keyboard, and common event handling if several components perform the same actions. It also has tooltips, which describe the component when the mouse rolls over it. Now let's look at JLabel. This provides text instructions on a GUI. It has read-only text. Programs rarely change a label's contents, and the class JLabel is a subclass of JComponent. In methods, we can declare label text in the constructor. This piece of code right here displays text in a tooltip when the mouse rolls over the label. We have the icon. This is an object that implements an interface icon. One class is ImageIcon. Here is an example assuming the same directory as the program. We can display an icon with JLabel's setIcon method. In this piece of code, we create a container object to which we attach JLabel objects, and it is a subclass of the J component. Here, we initialize text in the JLabel constructor, and we set the tooltip text and attach the component to container C. Here, we create a new image icon, assumed to be in the same directory as the program. And we set the image icon and alignment of the text in the JLabel constructor. Again, feel free to practice this code if you want to. So let's take a look at the J button. Here are some methods of the class J button. We have the constructors, as you can see here, such as setRolloverIcon myIcon, which sets the image to display when the mouse goes over the button. And we have the class actionEvent getActionCommand, which returns the label of the button that generates at the event. Here's another example piece of code below this. When it comes to the J checkbox, when J checkbox changes, the item event is generated, handled by an item listener, which must be defined, item state changed. The register handlers with the add item listener. We have the class which is set to item event get state changed. This returns the item event.selected or the item event.deselected. Here's another piece of code. In this section right here, we create the J checkboxes. Because checkbox handler implements the item listener, it must define the method item state changed. Here, the get state change returns item event.selected or item event.deselected. Now let's go towards the J radio button. Radio buttons have two states, selected or deselected. These normally appear as a group. Only one radio button in the group can be selected at one time. Selecting one button forces the other buttons to turn off. They have mutually exclusive options. Here we have the class JRadioButton and the constructor JRadioButton label selected. If selected true, the JRadioButton initially is selected. Here we initialize radio buttons. Only one is initially selected. And here we create a button group. Only one radio button in the group may be selected at a time. The method add adds the radio buttons to the button group. And here's an example of some of the buttons. As you can see, we can only select one at one time. Therefore, when we select a different one, for example, if we go from plain to bold, or from bold to italic, or from italic to bold/italic, it will move to that selected one and deselect the one we were on previously. Now looking at JList. A list displays a series of items, and we may select one or more items. Class JList takes an array of objects or strings to display in a list. Set visible row counter, n, displays n items at a time, and it does not provide automatic scrolling. Here we have a list test. We initialize JList with an array of strings and show 5 items at a time. Again, be sure to be coding any of this code that you see to practice for yourself. Here, we make the JList a single selection list. And we create a new JScrollPane object, initialize it with a JList, and attach it to the content pane. We change the color according to the item selected. To do this, we use getSelectedIndex. Here, another example is illustrated through mouse events in AWT and Swing. We add a listener for a mouse click. We use a name in a class as the event handler. This can still inherit from the mouse adapter, which is extends mouse adapter. We use getClickCount is alt down and is meta down to determine the string to use. And here we set the frame's title bar. And this is the program output. If not, feel free to go back through the lecture and copy down the code and practice it for yourself. I hope you're enjoying this class. We're almost to the end and you've done so well so far. So I'll see you in the last final lecture. If you haven't already, feel free to go back through the lecture and practice some of this code for yourself. The next video is the final one, and I'm so proud of you for getting to the end. So when you're done with this one, I'll see you in the next lecture where we wrap up the course.